Hello everyone, my name is Olectralab and today I have made some rubber band guns out of popsicle sticks. I've been really eating those ice creams and I decided it was time to put them to use. I have one of these ratchet guns. This is just a ratchet pistol. It has a max of 3 rounds on 2 different levels. So we've got the 3 sliders here. As this thing slides back it shoots. And we've got the racks on the back if you want slightly more power in each shot. And then over here we have, I call them a clicker clacker because it goes back and forward and it's slightly harder to load, but it fits more consecutive rounds and it's a lot simpler system. Super good. You can, this one holds 5 rounds and you just fire it by pulling the trigger back and forward. This one is almost done. Yeah, I think it's done. I keep forgetting that there's the second rack here, just got a little piston here. Anyway, the first one shoots like this. 2 consecutive shots. You can load up to 3 consecutive shots in this little slider here. As the sliding rail goes back, you have it basically hits the rubber bands and it slides them off of the rack and shoots them, so you can sort of have as many fired as you want. It just sort of sits there. This is the most simple of the different ones. I think it's pretty neat though for how simple it is. It's slightly harder to make. Well, actually, no, it depends. Because this one here, you don't actually need any like joints. Like this one has joints where you need a drill to be able to make it work properly. Whereas in this design, you don't need a drill in order to make it. You just need a glue gun and some popsicle sticks and rubber bands. And as you can see, it's very satisfying. Have it slide off the edge. First shot, second shot. That was a little bit fast. I pulled it back too fast. This one is my favorite design. I've made plenty of these before. This is a super simplified one. So you pull it back and it fires the first shot and then you slide it forward, fires the second shot and you pull it back, and third shot, that one's a little bit bad. I should really update this catcher here. And then you push it back again. You've got round 4 and round 5. Obviously that wasn't too good. The rubber bands don't like to sit on there for too long, and after a while if you only use one popsicle stick for the tip, these little rubber bands will dig into here, just like you're wrapping a watermelon with rubber bands. Eventually it'll wear down, so it sort of has to be replaced. But luckily it's pretty easy to replace. You just have like a regular popsicle stick and you just take the end off of it and you just put like a little notch in there. It doesn't even really have to be that big of a notch. It won't last though if you do it wrong. Sometimes if you get it wrong, it's not going to work. And you can always change the power of this 5-shooter gun just by extending the barrel with another popsicle stick. Oh, this is terrible. You have to get the right type of popsicle stick or it just doesn't work. These are all absolute garbage. Occasionally you get a popsicle stick that's not going to split horribly when you cut into it. Here we go, come on. Hope this works. You have to do it at just the right angle with the right type of popsicle stick so that it doesn't mess it up. And if we just add this on here, we can make it a little bit stronger. And if you want it weaker, you just snip the barrel down, depending on what type of rubber bands you're using. I'm currently just using these little $2 shop rubber bands, which work pretty well. These are super fun to make whenever you're bored. The way this one loads is pretty obvious. You load from the back forwards, just because of how the rail works, otherwise it'll clog. So you'd start with the third one at the back, and then you'd load that, and then you'd go over the second one, would be over the top, just so it doesn't jam. And it's also important to remember that the bands actually go over the sliding rail, otherwise they just won't trigger. And then you've got this. Super satisfying. Great for getting flies, actually. More effective than you'd think at getting flies. In the summertime, when I was like a lot younger, I built like an AK-47 version of this, and it would swat flies left, right, and center without really leaving too much of a mess. And if we just go ahead and take this thing, it should be right. This one is slightly harder to load, just because of how it works. There is the first one has to go. Let me just slide this forward. Oh no, I made a mistake here. Whenever you extend the barrel, you've got to remember not to put the extension too far over the end here, otherwise the sliding rail won't work properly. I've got a little popsicle stick sliding rail here, and it needs to be able to go forward and backwards in order to release the rubber bands. If we just take that off real quick, the first round goes into the little notch at the end, and then it comes back over this latch here, and you've got your one round. You can just fire one, but the second part is where it gets a little trickier. You have to take a rubber band from the end, and you have to bring it back round, stretch it round the back piece, and then you have it go over the main post, and then you pull the trigger back, and then this allows you to load the third one on, and you can do this over and over to whatever the maximum stress level of your popsicle sticks is. Obviously if you have thicker popsicle sticks or you use actual wood, but I have had ones before where I had like 12 rounds on the thing, and it spontaneously combusted because the frame couldn't handle it. It's got a decent amount of range. As you can see, I can shoot from across the room, and it'll still make it, as you can sort of hear by the sound at the end. Very satisfying. Let me know if you like this sort of thing or not, whether or not I should make more of these. I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 13, I made a Gatling gun out of an old VCR machine. I used the VCR machine, like the tape thing that winds the tape, as like the rotator bit of the barrel, and I made a minigun. It was super cool. It took ages to load and only like 2 seconds to completely discharge. I had a piece of copper wire that went around the middle through a bunch of notches that looked kind of like this, and as the string or the copper wire came up off of the notch, it would lift the rubber band, and so you had it in a huge big circle of like 6 of them, and it had a little motor, and you turn it on and it would go, and it would go. It was super awesome. I don't know if I'll ever build one of those again, but I would definitely probably like to if it's something other people want to see. Anyway, goodbye. Have a nice day.